Yo, 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 you tuning into the Notion Podcast. I'm your host, Dizzy D Spill, with my co-host in the building.
Farmer Poe.
We sticking with Farmer Poe.
For now.
Because you know what I'm saying.
It could change.
It could change.
It's ever changing. You know, Poe is part of it. It just depends on which one you want. You know, you had Sting, different Stings.
Different Stone Colds.
Yeah, different Stone Colds, different Rocks. You know, so it just depends on what era we in. We still in the farmer era.
Yeah, Mick Foley. You had Cactus Jack and Dude Love and Mankind.
It just depends on what era.
Yeah, it just depends on what era. Okay, all right, I could dig that. I could respect that.
We still in the farmer.
Still in the farmer stages. All right, we ain't mass producing yet.
Or downgrading.
Or downgrading. For real.
Yeah.
Anyways, how you been, brother? How you been living?
Shit, man. Last couple months, man, I've been doing quite well.
I've been chilling.
Yeah, bro. I've been doing quite well. Feeling better. I've been less. Procrastination is a hindrance of mine. So
okay. So sharpening that skill that, you know what I'm saying, could be a hardship. Yeah. I guess so to speak.
For sure. Taking care of things on time.
So listen, before we get into the topics, man, I definitely want to say shout out to everybody on all the platforms that actually engage with the content.
For sure.
Even if we get in a debate with you in the comment section, that's just healthy conversation. It ain't nothing personal. I mean, I did have to get at somebody on a personal level one time.
Couple times.
But every last one of you guys, whether you're on TikTok, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Instagram, we definitely appreciate the engagement. That helps us figure out what kind of content you want to hear from us. But
I don't mean we're going to change it.
Yeah, we're not going to
just
change
want
it.
to hear what you got to say.
Hear what you got to say, because it's an open discussion. Just because we're behind on the other side of the camera don't mean we're not going to engage with some of the comments,
For
right?
Sure.
But I definitely I got to call something out. This is a great example of why the youth needs guidance. So on the TikTok page, it was posted. One of the video clips that was posted is Kendrick Lamar, King of the West.
Right.
Now, as far as in a lot of posts, this has the most interaction.
Understandably so.
Right.
Yeah.
And there was a youngster. I'm not gonna put you out there, youngster. I don't even really expect you to come
Still
back.
Still a youth.
You know, the troubled youth.
We're gonna blur your name out.
You know what I'm saying? The troubled youth. So basically, what the youngin tried to say. Did you delete your comment, youngin?
I hate when they do that shit.
Did you delete your comment, youngin?
When they do that shit.
Hold on, let me make sure.
You know the file keepers is still.
Yeah, the file keepers is still in business.
You can delete your shit if you want. we kept the files.
Yeah, man. We screenshot. You know what I'm saying? We do all that. I've been called the screenshot king by those.
For sure.
Yeah, it looks like youngin deleted the comment. No. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
Between all that
no. I'm absolutely wrong. My bad, youngin. I think you right here.
Okay.
It wasn't the Kendrick Lamar King of the West comment. You know what it was?
Which one?
Why our goats keep getting disrespected. That had a lot of activity too, so I slept on that one. Okay. So basically, a OG cat, probably around our age or older, he says kids today don't understand. Kids today don't respect their elders anymore. Mm-hmm. The kid writes back, "Womp womp unk." And then I responded from the account and I said, "This is going to age perfectly when your unc's age one day."
Yeah, no real talk. They don't respect elders.
Look, I'm gonna tell you why.
I had an example yesterday.
He explains why, and I want to hear your example. Right?
Talk to me.
So he goes, "When I'm unk, I'm not gonna be hating on old head." This is how he wrote it. "I'm gonna let the next generation believe and do what they want. Step aside. It's the youngest turn." I responded and I said, "It's not about hating on the next generation. It's about respecting the ones that built the floor that you walk on."
For sure.
You missed the whole point. Not all criticism is hate.
For sure.
He writes back, "Y'all want us to kiss the floor you guys walk on. The disconnect between the generations is y'all complain about everything we do. So in return, ignore, discredit everything y'all say."
Nah, man.
So the reply, he said, "You will never hear from us. You know what's wrong with the older generation? that convo doesn't exist because we're not worried about y'all. So then I said, you missed the whole point, youngin. Have a good one, man. And that's how the conversation ended.
Listen,
tell me your story.
You're older much longer than you are younger.
Yes.
You're older much longer than you are
Yes.
younger. So whatever little thing he want to try to flip and say, we just going to step aside and let them do what they want to do. Use that same kind of logic when you talk to your kids then.
Yeah.
You're just going to step aside and I'm just let them do what they want to do.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna,
no discipline, no complaining, no any of that stuff.
That's where we at now. You remember back in Comic View, I don't know if a lot of comedians back during the Comic View era, they always talked about how it was becoming new for kids to be like, they had a number they could dial.
Yeah.
But it was that transition of, can you get to the phone?
Yeah.
This was before cell phones.
Yeah, I remember that.
Get to the phone and call that number.
He said, you can call whoever you want. But if you can get to this phone.
You got to get to the phone.
You got to get to the phone.
You got to get, now they got the phone in their pockets.
Yeah.
They getting babied. They got these, everybody
participation trophies.
Mm-hmm. The schools are now not, there's a new law that's making way in California to where the teacher does not have to inform a parent if their child is planning to transition.
Yeah.
They don't have to. So all these different laws and things are just kind of like evolving.
Letting them make adult decisions as children. And
my thing is like,
but yet there's still laws for cigarettes, alcohol, driving, and everything else, right?
And they don't know. And they don't know a damn thing. No. Yeah. This is the other thing is they don't know anything. So I was at a barbecue yesterday.
Okay.
And sitting there, my pops is on the side of me, and my pops like to talk shit. My pops disrespectful, talk shit. That's his way of communicating. So this young girl walks in between us, and she reaches over to grab something. But it's that reach where it's like you too close, and all you have to do sometimes is just courtesy and say, hey, excuse me, it's no problem. You just got to say excuse me it's acknowledgement. They don't know how to acknowledge. And so he was like, man, you can say excuse me. But it wasn't no crazy. He wasn't talking crazy. And the little girl turned back and said something back. And the way she was smiling and him going back and forth, I thought they had a rapport. This is a family barbecue and shit. So I thought they had a rapport to where it's like the way she was smiling and stuff, I thought it was cool.
From a distance, this looks great. Okay, look at y'all.
Not even from distance. I'm right here and there. I look at her like, I was smelling her like, you talking like that? And then she said something else, and my pastor was like, and he like, how you gotta grab your mouth. He was like, little girl, and I was like, oh shit. I'm like, oh, she really was really talking crazy. So his wife informed me like, yeah, she always been talking like this, and she ain't never had no type of respect. And I'm in my head like I was just in my head.
Why are you fixing a plate? Why is she fixing a plate?
No, she wasn't even fixing the plate. She grabbing the plastic fork. She grabbing the plastic fork.
You put them back.
Dog, I didn't know what to... I was in my head like, damn, it's really coming time to where y'all so... you have that comfort level of where you play around. You might have a joking relationship with an adult.
Yeah, but they're supposed to play with something safe.
Play with something safe.
Yeah, play with something safe. Man.
That's the truth. So I was in my head just reflecting like, damn, y'all just talk any type of way. I mean, and then there was another part of that situation where it was somebody who's older than that young lady who had some type of disrespectful tone with another adult. She's an adult, but it was like...
But she wasn't the elder to the person she was talking to.
Yeah, and I was just like, damn, like, no matter how we felt...
Yeah.
It was a certain thing of watch your tone, watch your mouth, watch your tongue, not just out of respect, but back then it was somebody gonna put their hands on you. Nowadays they don't get the whoopings, they don't get like.
There's no fear.
There's no fear.
There's no fear.
They don't have no fear of retribution or consequence.
The thing is like, okay, removing whoopings from the house, we've seen how that could have a positive impact.
For sure.
But at the same time, when it comes to the younger generation versus the old generation, being in the shoes of our parents when we were the age we were, not understanding them, it helps me understand like, oh, okay, this is what the world really is. This is what's really going on. Now, granted, our parents did have to deal with certain problems as a parent that we got to deal with, with everybody else trying to raise your kids but make you pay for it. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I definitely understand where they were coming from when it's like, man, you really don't know anything.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's so many people that turn on a phone, that turn on a camera, and because they're confident in the way that their tone is, you think that it's the gospel, you think that it's the truth. A lot of these people are not telling you the truth. A lot of these people are trying to go viral. They're trying to get an audience. They're trying to get a cult-like following. And you think that just because somebody cuts a camera on and says, yo, I'm tired of the older generation, I'm tired of this and I'm tired of that, and yo, you don't have to listen to them, and when it comes to a job, just do this, and everybody can be a millionaire, and this, that, and the other, and when the old generations pass on, everything's gonna be better. And what you guys are being manipulated into is a position of knowing a whole lot less than the people before you. You know what I'm saying? So when certain things like the world shutting down, you're not going to know what to do. You're not going to know what happens or what decisions to make when certain things that's never happened before happen, because generations before you lived that life when none of these things exist. That's why they can maneuver. That's why we can understand, and that's why we can do without cell phones. We can do without the internet. We can do without a whole lot of stuff. We know how to use a compass.
We know how to use a map.
We know how to use a map. You know what I'm saying? And so,
remember the Thomasville guy thing?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
You know, we know what an atlas is. Mm-hmm. You know?
We know what a dictionary is.
Yeah. And a thesaurus. You know what I'm saying?
I had to have my son.
That's not a dinosaur, okay, y'all? For y'all that don't know.
It's not a dinosaur.
But
it is a dinosaur, but it's
a dinosaur as far as history, if you want to be funny.
Yeah.
But this young person, and it sounds like they're definitely the person I'm talking about, the person you're talking about, come from the same generation.
For sure.
What this young person failed to realize that I was having a back and forth discussion with on our page was that he made his bottom line about complaining and about hating. And I want to get this out the way right now, and then we can kind of roll into, because it ties in perfectly to one of the first topics that we're going to cover. But what younger people don't understand is that when you are saying this person is hating, where's the growth at? If you think that because somebody disagrees with you or somebody's critiquing something that you're actually doing wrong or you're misinformed on is hating, where's your growth coming from?
Yeah, because that word was created.
Plants don't water themselves, bro.
That word was created out of, first of all, that's a what I would think is a California term. It's a term that I remember coming out of the Bay Area, and I'm sure it has its lineage, much deeper than that and farther than that, as our lineage comes from the South. But that word is player hating, right?
Yeah.
So player hating is you jealous.
Yeah, you trying to interrupt. You trying to interrupt, man. You interrupting the game.
Yeah, you player hating.
Right. You interrupting the beat like DJ Clue. That
ain't mean you critiquing. And having an opinion is different than player hating. Right. Player hating is just, man.
And what is criticism supported by facts?
Criticism supported by facts? That ain't hating.
That's not hating.
That's definitely not hating.
You know what I'm saying? And so this person actually validated my point. When this person said, y'all just complaining, you'll never hear us say anything about this, that, and the third. And it's like, actually, yeah, there's countless interviews where younger artists saying, I remember, I think it was Uzi Vert when he was on Ebro, right? The show Ebro. And he says, if you put one of those old school beats on, I'm not rapping on it. I'm not doing any of that. I'm a rock star. What?
Yeah, because it was a different way he could have relayed that. Like, I choose not to like. I don't.
Nobody
really
asked you if you was a rock star. Right. Nobody's forcing you to rap either. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is I felt like at that time, and who knows, he's probably grown since then, right? But what I understood from that time is this is somebody that went into the situation with the intent to rebel.
Yeah, because he thought niggas was putting him on the spot to like, because he feel like they know he's not that type of rapper. But when you remember when they said, who was it, Jay? Who am I to fuck tradition up? Like, that's a tradition of rap and hip hop. Is
Right.
It's not like putting you on the spot necessarily. For a lot of people, we would critique your abilities after you rhymed, but it wasn't to put you on the spot to be like, oh, he not real or authentic. That's part of the tradition.
It's okay to not know how to do something.
Nas don't know how to freestyle.
He said that. This is one of the greatest rappers. He is in the argument of one of the greatest rappers of all times. Okay. Sure.
And he's not coming off the top of the dome.
Saying, I can't come off the top of the head when it comes to rapping. That's okay.
For sure.
There's a lot of people that don't know how to rap off the top of the head.
Yeah, and that's not a requirement.
Right. So stop looking at certain things. And here's the other thing too, bro. Like, that's how we know that there's a lot of OGs and uncles and big brothers missing, because the information that's being given is now looked at as criticism, right? Mm-hmm. So let's roll into it. Julio, right?
Ooh, damn.
Right? Let's roll into it real quick.
Damn.
Rest in peace, Julio.
Rest in peace.
Right? Because I think it's terrible that so many young artists are losing their lives literally behind wax and behind some street drama, right? You understand what I'm saying?
And that's all the content that they.
When you look at how many of these artists are taking each other out, whether it's through street gun violence or whether it's from obviously pharmaceuticals, you know what I'm saying? It's like, we are 90s kids. We were children in the 90s, right? It was a huge deal when hip hop lost Biggie and Tupac.
Big.
It was like it was kind of traumatizing.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It didn't happen often.
Yeah, there's no social media for you young folks. This was the news. This is like you're watching TV, breaking news. Tupac Shakur, breaking news. Right. Notorious B.I.G. It's in the newspaper. It's talked about for weeks and weeks and weeks. Do you remember how depressing hip hop was when that happened?
For sure.
Do you remember like how sad and how afraid a lot of these OGs were when they were still young artists, whether it was Nas and Jay-Z and Mace and the Lox and all of these people that you guys, all these rappers that you've seen do verses that are now considered the old heads and OGs, they were shook up and they were traumatized.
Yeah.
They were human. Everybody was humanized, no matter how gangster you were, right?
Because this is, at the end of the day, it's entertainment, and it's it's music. Like, nobody really. I mean, obviously there probably were There's incidences. Right. People have run-ins. People have, maybe there's fights, things like that that happen.
Right.
But
a lot of people walked away.
A lot of the artists were multifaceted in the music that they made. It wasn't just like, they. And really talking about people directly on wax was like not very known. It wasn't
really common. It wasn't common. You had your subliminals, but there was a real issue. Like whether it was MC Shan and I think it was KRS-One and all of them. There was an actual like, yo, I'm going at you, or whatever the case is. But it wasn't so common. I mean, MC Shan and KRS-One are still here today.
Yeah, and
you see what I'm saying? Jay-Z and Nas are still here today.
I want your life to end.
Right. And I'm gonna be real. I think even with Tupac and Biggie back then, I don't think they wanted it to go that far with each other. And to be realistic for a lot of people, when you look at documentaries and you look at the facts, they didn't even take each other out. It was the outside people that were involved with their teams and their camps that took them out.
For sure.
And that get to tell their story. And there's probably a lot of things missing and a lot of things that aren't really fact that we got to take as facts, right? So when I look at like the situation with Julio and I look at like the King Von situation, and I actually did watch that YouTube documentary on King Von. That was like crazy.
About, the one with Trap Lord Ross.
Yeah,
that boy be putting in work when he do his shit. His shit be 3-4 hours long.
It'd be better than TV, regular TV.
Shout out to Trap Lord Ross. I know you from over the pond. That's what they call it, over the pond, and you not from here, but he do some very in-depth,
detailed work.
Yeah.
And so when I look at that stuff and I see, like I said, the King Vons, the Julio Fulios, all of those artists, who was the other one that was from Texas? Mo3. All of these, like when you hear the old heads or you hear the OG saying you're doing this and you're doing that, and this isn't the way, and you think somebody's hating, if you think somebody's trying to save your life and guide you as hating, then you are misinformed. The true the true definition of hate, in my opinion, is not saying anything at all and letting you crash and burn.
Not caring.
That's what y'all got. Like, true hate is letting you, knowing you're gonna walk in that door and you're probably not gonna be able to make it out, and just letting you do it, not trying to stop you, not trying to guide you. So a lot of younger people, because I feel like we're at an age where we understand people way older than us and way younger than us, because we've been exposed to the beginning stages of what the younger generation live off of, and we have enough knowledge to help the older people understand why things are the way they are.
See, I put it like, when you just said something, you made me realize even more. It's not even our critiques, not even about the individual, the person, the artist necessarily. Like, it might it might be aimed at them in moments.
Yeah, for the conversation.
But the real care, it's not hate. We give a fuck about this shit.
Yeah,
we care about this shit. We grew up in this shit. We studied this shit. We was at Sam Goody's. We was buying albums. We was downloading shit on Kazaa and BearShare, and we was burning CDs. We was looking at the credits. We care about this shit called hip hop and rap.
Yeah.
So when y'all come in here with this not caring about, I freestyle everything, I don't even write nothing down, and everything sounds like it's not even having, like, there's
no effort.
There's a vibe.
There's effort.
There might be a vibe y'all creating. Some people might be very good at that, but as far as like, y'all just show a disdain and not a caring about this shit we call hip hop. That's a lot of motherfuckers put blood, sweat, and tears into caring about, as consumers, as artists themselves, as people who have attempted to be in the industry and might have failed or might have succeeded. We care about this shit, and y'all don't give a fuck about y'all lives, nor do y'all care about this art, and they intertwine now.
And you know what's crazy, right? Because we talked about this with Allen Iverson like some episodes ago, right? I don't think the younger generations understand, and I say this with care, because he said this hip hop thing. I'm gonna say this culture, this hip hop culture for sure, because the culture changes and the tides and all of that stuff. But what I think you guys need to understand is that you guys are children of people that we looked up to, as far as in everything about your style. Right now, when I look at the industry, I see the children of Lil Wayne.
Oh yeah.
Heavy.
Oh yeah.
I see the children of Ice Cube. I see the children of Nas.
50.
I see the children of 50. Right? And if we break all of those people down, and there's more, but those are the most noticeable. 50 Cent was talking that gunplay. 50 Cent really lived that life. And he really, the people that he was beefing with when he came out, he's still beefing with them to this day.
Yeah.
Right? That's that drill music, all of that stuff, that gunplay music, that derives from 50, and I'll even say young Ice Cube with the gangster rap, right? And then when you look at people that are like backpack hip hop, you know what I'm saying, respect everything about it, from the graffiti to the b-boying and all of that stuff, that's where your Kendricks and your J. Coles and all of them are.
Yeah.
They're the children of those artists, like the Nas's and all of them. You understand what I'm saying? And so, and then when you look at Lil Wayne, I'm gonna save him for last, because them dreads and them different colors in your hair, and them different wild clothes, the piercings, the lean, the tattoos, you guys are all children of Lil Wayne. And I really, really do hope that y'all pay respect and y'all pay homage to that man, because he did everything that he did in his prime because he looked up to Tupac. He said that on camera. I wanted tattoos because Tupac had tattoos. And so when we say like pay respect, pay it forward, there's two things that you're supposed to do when you're in the position of heavy influence. You pay respect to those that paved the way for you and that basically help create your character, and you pay it forward by pulling the next people up behind you to make sure that they have it easier and that they're guided. You know what I'm saying? And what's not happening right now is that, because you guys are taking each other out. This is supposed to be on wax. This is supposed to be music. Like, I would really be shocked if something detrimental happened between Kendrick and Drake.
But a lot of these,
you know what I'm saying?
Ain't
like, that's the
rappers,
proper way. That's the proper way
But a lot of these little niggas not rappers. Remember the whole "I'm not a rapper" campaign? That was
Yeah.
I'm not a rapper.
I mean, I've even indulged in that. I don't call myself a rapper. I call myself an artist because I don't just rap. I write music. I produce.
But it was
so
a
I
time when
understand
niggas was saying I'm not a rapper, and they basically was saying like, yo, I'm good at this, but I'm not really like a rapper in the sense of this is like the career. Like I kind of understand what they were trying to distinguish themselves as, but a lot of them dudes was very good at what they did when they said I'm not a rapper. J.R. Ryder, one of those, I'm not a rapper. Highly elite when it came to rapping at that time.
Right.
A lot of these dudes are getting on, and some of them just, one, there's no individualism. So a lot of them they're influenced by the same people, same music, and they're creating the same type of music.
Yeah.
So yeah, you might got a couple of songs that pop, and you have a style, and you're able to make this type of music well, but you just don't have any individualism when it comes to, or identity when it comes to your rap. So a lot of them are jumping into this game, and they say, I just started rapping 10 months ago. But there's already a blueprint that you're copying from, so it's not like you really are. You started rapping and rhyming when you was younger, or thinking of yourself as a rapper.
Yeah. I mean,
that's where a lot of the disrespect from that you might feel coming from elder statesmen as being like, oh man, y'all don't respect, y'all hating. Yeah, we hating on your little ass, man, because not hating on your success, we hating on your disrespect for the art form.
Yeah,
that's what that. If y'all want to say it's some hate, it's some hate.
And you know what's ironic, right? You know what's ironic about that? If you hated, if you, when they say that you're hating because the way that you're doing something in a lane that you're passionate about, right? They may not understand that. But if you say something about where they come from, their neighborhood, right? Something that they hold dear, now it's a problem. But you got to understand, people really feel this way about this art. And I think it's universally known that this is considered art and it's taken seriously. This is $1 billion art form. When people's masters get obtained by certain individuals, when they pass on or whatever the case is, there's a reason why they're worth millions and millions and millions of dollars. So, it's never a hate thing, and I thought it would be a good idea to address it. Because I do think that bridging that gap is important. I remember Nas tried to do it literally with a song called Bridging the Gap, but I think there needs to be more of it. And I feel like he's done that with certain artists that he's tried to work with, like A Boogie and a lot of the younger generations.
I think he did a good job when he got Dave East.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I think more of that needs to happen. I don't think he could do it by himself.
Right.
I know out here in the West Coast, that's always been a thing, OG artists with the newer artists, a lot of times because they can relate, at least out there in LA. I can't really speak for the Bay. I can't say the Bay doesn't do it, but just from what I'm familiar with, I think bridging that gap is important because it's almost like hip hop has been around long enough to where you could damn near have a Big Brother program where it's like, you know what, you remind me of DJ Quick. You should probably, or you remind me of Kanye. Oh, that was another person that I missed. A lot of these artists are children of Kanye as well.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And I say that for being outspoken and not just letting people tell you that you got to walk the tightrope this way. And I do respect that about the younger generation because they're not falling for certain things that we did fall for. You know what I'm saying? And they do get to reap certain benefits when they get to a certain point. They make money a lot younger, but understanding the power in it, understanding what it really means, understanding what's a tool and what's not, I think that's where it gets a little foggy for them. That early success or that instant gratification sometimes blurs proper decision making.
I think one of the biggest aspects that's probably making a divide is history, or a knowledge of history and a respect for it.
A lack of knowledge when it comes to history?
Yeah, like we didn't have no choice but to learn the history and dive into it. Like we had to go because we had to go search for things. It caused us to stumble upon other things that we were not knowledgeable about and have more of an appreciation for it. When you don't have an understanding of like where things come from or even a care about where things come from, and you're just indulging in it, then you don't have as much appreciation for it. You may like it, you may love it, you may or be entertained by it, but when you don't have an understanding for it or an appreciation for where it started and where it's transitioned into, then I think that's where they think this hate shit comes from. They are the first generation that I know of that are disrespecting the generations before them. Although there may have been a divide in the, generations prior to, every generation after it is going to have some sort of like, when things are changing. But I don't remember there being this argument or just such a strong divide between generations, especially in hip hop, when it came to like the art. Like, yeah, there might have been people who are like not happy with their position because of the money that's being made as the art form progresses.
Right.
But I don't know about Jada and them disrespecting like everybody. For the people the artists that we hold in high regard, when they say who their favorite rappers are. When Jay-Z said, "I'm doing this for what they did to the Cold Crush," like their favorite rappers, Jada and them. Jada's not gonna say nobody that's of his generation when it comes to his favorite rappers. He's gonna pull up, man. It's KRS, it's Rakim, it's G Rap, Eric B, and them. He's not. He's gonna name them. They still hold them in high regard.
And they still nice.
And they wasn't too
like. Let's keep it real. They still nice. Rakim is still nice. Big Daddy Kane is still nice.
Get up there and rap right now, and then you see his breath control and ability and all that. And it's not even like Big Daddy Kane was like right before the locks. We're not just saying like, okay,
there was 2 years before. Like these were
just the people. These are the people who helped this art.
They actually laid the bricks down.
Big Daddy Kane
They laid down the earlier parts of the foundation.
Late 80s, early 90s. Kiss and them ain't get up until the mid 90s. So these are artists that were like 10, 15 years before they even became who they were. So there's this understanding and this love for the history of hip hop to be like, I appreciate this shit, to where we may have some sort of riff a little bit where it's like an generational gap a little bit. It's always
But you know what I am confident in though?
What?
When they get older.
Oh, I mean
when they get older, because now don't get me wrong, youngins, when you get older, you will stand by certain things that you really, really stand on. Because at my age, I still hold on to things when I was a teenager. Like, nope, if I had to do it again, I would have did it the same way. Right?
Like what?
I would say certain things that I disagreed with about life or about the way authority handles certain things. And I'll give you an example. We come from the generation where, cause I said so.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think when we hit the teenage parts of our lives, we started understanding that cause I said so meant you don't even really have a good reason.
Yeah.
I try not to.
Yeah.
And I don't, you know what? I can't even say that I try not to. I naturally don't go the cause I said so route with anything, because I understand for myself that it's more so I don't want to, or I don't feel like it, or this is going to get in the way of this, than just saying because I said so. So I understood way back then. It's like, man, that's just some bullshit because you just don't want to, or because you wrong about your decision.
I'm a little on both.
You know what I'm saying?
I've definitely done the because I said so, and I try to be more conscious on explaining why sometimes. But
we hardly got the explanation,
and that's
already
I'm trying to change.
You're already ahead of what we endured, even if you're repeating it.
But because I said so came from the tone and how you asked. So the parent didn't explain that it wasn't because you asking me why.
Right.
It's your tone and asking me why, as if my
man, it didn't matter my tone in my house.
So I tell my son, like,
in the house I grew up, it didn't matter. I could have sent a telegram. Telegram is when you send like a. Anyways,
I try to tell my son, like, yo, when you say why or how come, it's a feeling from an adult that's saying that I have to explain everything to you, or sometimes they just don't feel like telling your ass why. I don't feel like going. They didn't feel like it,
right?
But sometimes I try to tell my son, well, I'll give him an explanation, and it's more stern and be like, well, you sure didn't do this, and you sure didn't do that, and I haven't seen any improvement, so that's why.
Right.
But I can also understand it where it's like, oh man, how come? Because I said so. That's why. Because my first answer, and I'm the authority figure, is telling you no. So once I say no, I've already in my head, and I think I know why.
Yeah.
I don't gotta tell you.
Yeah. You don't have time. But I think that's what I'm getting at. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because you said you're getting better with it, and for me, I'm not there yet. My kids are still, they still babies and stuff like that. Yeah. But I do have nieces and nephews, and there has been times where I've had to be firm, and it wasn't, and even then it wasn't because I said so. And I think it's because I knew the point I was driving, and I knew that I wasn't the direct parent.
Okay,
but I do understand certain instances where you don't have time to explain. So you're like, because I said so.
Yes.
But the way I grew up, y'all had time. You just didn't want. Who are you? You stay in my house. You eating my food.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And I do think that even though that's true, and even though that's something that I appreciate, our parents and our culture standing on, explaining things can be very impactful too, because all you're doing is just delivering more lessons. You know what I'm saying? And that's so important, because what you don't want to happen is when these kids grow up and you asking them why they didn't do A, B, and C, and they say they don't know how, and you looking at them crazy, and it's like, well, you the teacher, so you need to be going in the bathroom and looking in the mirror and looking at yourself crazy.
You know what I find myself doing now that you even thought that I thought about the last few times that my son has asked me something and I gave him a no. I don't even give him a chance to ask why. So he'll test, hey, can I go do this? Well, you still haven't done this and this and this and that, so no. So like there's
he understands.
The explanation comes before the no. So I'm gonna give you a whole rundown of like why
this guy's a villain
before you even get a chance to say,
yo, what if we got rejected on loans like that?
Well, sir, it looks like you haven't paid back many of the other loans.
You got about 32 G's you haven't paid back. It looks, you got this card right here and that card right here. So it's gonna be a no.
Woo. I think that should happen.
Nah, I don't think, man. There'd be some long arguments in the conversation.
Yeah.
With that, with going on with that, man. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
No, I might do that with my business. You know what I'm saying? Because it's my business. I ain't even gonna do that. You know what I'm gonna do?
Not your business. Like,
you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna be like, yo, you weren't approved. Well, why? Because I said so.
See, you go to the bank and they say, because I said so, that's going to bring up a lot more.
That's going to be some fighting words.
Like, what the fuck you mean?
What you mean I said so? Well, I said I want to speak to a manager.
Yeah. So you the deciding factor.
Yeah. Yo, let's get into it, man, because it's been popular.
Yeah.
It's the ratchet part of the episode.
Let's get into it.
This balloon pop show, man.
Oh, the 20 balloons is what they call it?
Is that what it's called?
Is it called 20 balloons? 20 balloons or something like that. I've seen it. It's the new wave.
Ghetto Bachelor. Yeah, because it's like the Bachelor, but like with Kool-Aid.
They had the one, or they still do the one where the dude is there. It's usually somebody who might be popular, or sometimes it's just somebody who we might not know if they might be Instagram famous. And, they have the young ladies come up and, he'll shake his hand and he'll say, no, thank you, I'll pass.
Right.
So now I think this is a transition or a new wave of the balloon thing is he walks in and it's the women who have the balloons and they just
bruh, it be sounding like Aura
sound like 4th of July in that
it be sound like Axe popcorn when these dudes be walking in there, man. But okay, so it's a whole lot of stuff around. Okay, for starters, let me just say my opinion what I think of the show. I think the show is embarrassing
for both sides. The culture.
For the culture, for our culture, right? But then on top of that, I think I see the entertainment aspect, but the problem is I think there could have been some possible decent intentions in the earlier stages, but then when people started going viral for the way that they were being embarrassed, now when people go on the show, it's about, I got my defense up when you're not supposed to be there for that. It's supposed to be like Trying to find your type. They definitely went in on Raphael from Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, your man was. You know what?
I don't know why they put the Donatello on him, because Raphael is the biggest Ninja Turtle.
Yeah.
But
I could see. Now, it was a lot of people shooting at him about how he responded. And I could kind of agree with both sides. I see why he might have responded a little bit at times to some of the popping. He was defensive off rip. And maybe he was overly confident.
He seen the show.
Yeah,
he obviously seen the show, so he came in with this attitude. He came and my thing is, if you're there to go in on people, then I don't know. It looked like a waste of time, because these are grown folks. You know what I'm saying? These are grown people. These aren't. I can't even get at and be like, oh, these kids. No, these are grown adults getting on a show and going in on each other. Now, the reason why I say it's bad for the culture is because you're just perpetuating the behavior that's already on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok about how black men are, how black women are. It does expose a lot. I'm gonna be honest, the show puts a lot of sisters in a bad light, a really, really bad light. But when you say that you kind of understand both sides, I do understand that double standards are always gonna exist, and that's just the way it is. And the reason why I'm saying double standards is because when the dudes get on there and they go in on females like females do all the time, when a guy that they're not attracted to tries to holler at him, he's gonna get backlash. But I think the important thing is that when the brothers, because there's been more brothers that's got on that show and was completely respectful, even when they got rejected, it was like, I still would take her out if I had that opportunity. I think when the men keep doing that, the only thing you're doing is just holding the mirror up.
I think there's a system, honestly, that so I think depending on how you respond to the first couple pops, usually like the first pop, how you respond to that, regardless of whether the other women, like, they might pop based on your answers or whatever, the way that you're going to deliver their reasonings is going to be either a nice letdown or they just going to go hard. And I think with your man, the turtle,
bro, why you making it sound like a ghetto person? That's what I'm like. His name is the turtle.
Licensed plumber.
That's the turtle right there, man.
The licensed plumber. I mean, well, shit, he was a plumber.
I think there was.
He lived in the sewer,
and right.
Is
that what the connection was? That's what the turtle.
Apparently, he lost his job, bro.
I don't believe that.
They said that they called in too much. There was too many calls getting made into the company, which is crazy.
I don't believe. I don't believe that happened. How did he get doxxed?
It's easy nowadays. All it takes is one person to find you that recognize you.
But so many companies.
Yeah, like how they know which plumbing company.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
What I did hear, and I couldn't find out if it was 100% fact. So you guys in the comments, you could correct us or correct me, but they were saying that he had like some DV issues back in the day and stuff like that. Yeah, you know what I mean.
That's what y'all doing out here is making brothers, because of how he felt or whatever. He didn't disrespect. He just might have had some little. He might have been sensitive in his responses. Y'all out here making people lose their jobs over this. That's the. I
kind of didn't believe it. I mean, if he really did, he definitely cleaned up. He definitely cleaned up on GoFundMe.
So so we got to talk to the company, because who y'all using for your background checks? So he had domestic.
Well, I mean, but you gotta think that's a different. That's a different type of work, like a plumbing company and stuff like that. I don't know how extensive those background checks are going to be, but. What I do know is that if it is true, and the dude did lose his job, I'm gonna say this: if the guy lost his job, or y'all started exposing his background and saying what type of man he was, every last one of you women that has something to say about his background, that has something to say about his job, are 100% hypocrites, and I'm gonna tell you why.
That shit crazy.
Do you remember the guy that was on the balloon show that went viral, that came in with like the briefcase, and
I ain't seen too many of them.
so this is the first one I seen.
Okay.
Well, dude comes in with his briefcase. I think he was from Chicago. There's a little short, light-skinned girl that just cooked him. She was the first one to cook them. And she was like, yeah, you just remind me of my little brother, the way you talk and this, that, and the other. And he was like, oh, okay, well, maybe I remind you of him because we come from the same thing. We come from the same environment. He was like, I am educated. I do have my degree. And, you know, so many of the sisters was talking about his fit and everything like that. But there was a black chick on there, chocolate sister, and she had on green. Even Anton Daniels covered it. She was the rudest one to every guy. Like, her motive was to go in on every guy, right? Come to find out, and this is why I'm saying a lot of these women that's going at this dude are hypocrites, because I know y'all didn't do this to this sister. Come to find out, she was one of the other women that was accusing that baseball player of SA, right? And she was trying to get millions out of him or whatever the case it was. Because right now, I to my knowledge, he's still not playing in the MLB because of the first girl. So she was one of the women that did that. So she's trying to like be in the light, why didn't y'all pull up her information, and why didn't y'all, I don't know if she's working or she got a job, but why aren't y'all doxing her and putting her business out there? Not saying that y'all should. I'm just saying what's good for the goose is good for the gander, right? Why are we not, why is the energy not the same?
Because I would only go on there for the entertainment. None of those type of women on there, like the way that, and I guess I would respond this way. They're not my type. I would go in there for the
I don't think there are a lot of people's type. That's why they're on the show.
Yeah, I would go in there for the entertainment, because it would be like, that's not even who I'm looking for. I just would want to be like, whether they would pop all the balloons or not.
I seen 4 of these encounters and they were all black men and walking in and getting the balloon pop. So we got the Ninja Turtle dude.
We had the sheriff.
That one was wild.
Yeah, he was super respectful how he responded. It's like, so y'all not messing.
The chick that said that she got to stand on the other side because she can't mess with no cops.
She got to stick to the code.
Stick to the code.
Which code? So
what code are you talking about?
So you telling? So like, which? Yeah. What is the code like? Is the code that
call her J Code?
You only fucking with street niggas? Are you just? Is it just not messing with
scammers and blammers?
You don't believe in like? So you don't? Not even a black cop.
There was nothing about her that sounded like okay. There's like a stigma with like super pro black folks.
That's crazy,
right? There's a reputation with super pro black people, right? Or B1s, black first, where they have. I consider myself a B1, but
first time hearing that.
Like with them, they kind of have this not so great relationship with the way the police are, right?
Understand.
But with people that are pro-black and B1, they have a certain aura to them. They talk a certain type of way. They carry themselves a certain type of way. She didn't give me any of that energy that she was about that. She definitely gave the energy that she probably is into scammers and D-boys and, she probably changed her profile to, hashtag George Floyd and probably didn't even know who he was. For sure. or did any extensive research. She didn't give off that sister soul type of. She gave off that I'll steal your soul type of situation. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I thought that was crazy. Because now, and it also goes to show, like, look at some of the careers that these men have, right? Plumber, police officer, the brother that I forget what his career was, but he definitely had his degree. And then there was the dude that came in that you could tell he watched anime when he came in. He was he had the dreads or whatever. Almost all the balloons popped for one, right? He had on like a flannel. Like, they popped the balloons because they didn't like his fit. Disrespect. A lot of them popped the balloon. They didn't like his fit. I heard one female say they didn't like his name.
That's crazy. Right?
She didn't like his name. But he ended up walking out with a chick, and one of the chicks that he walked out with loves anime.
Yo, we got to get back to what's the show where they sat on different sides of a wall, didn't see each other.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking
Love
about.
Connection.
Yeah.
We got to get back to Love Connection because, I mean, I guess they got a few of those. I
wouldn't do that. Because say you do have a connection and then that person come around the corner and it's not visually what you want, they go.
Yeah,
but
Love Connection, that was wicked when you find out what she looked like.
But I do think that it's a good conversation to have about like our priorities and like how shallow we can really be. I definitely think people should initially be attracted to the person that they're going to give an opportunity, like a physical attraction. The beauty of the eye, of the beholder type of concept. I do think there's a lot more truth to it than what people think.
What percentage would you give to it? Like as far as the percentage of initial attraction and overall attraction, what would you give to what the physical attraction should be?
The initial meetup or whatever the case was.
Like, all right, I see you. I think
all
you're
right,
attractive.
Cool. So since I'm a married man, this is gonna work out the way I think it should work out.
This is just hypothetical.
So when I met my wife in high school in 2004, going into 2005, when we first met up, I thought she was bad as hell.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? We talk about this every so often when we first met and stuff like that, right? And I still remember what she had on that day. I still remember what her hair looked like that day and everything, right? 100% my type. My type. What I like, what I see. You see what I'm saying? And so if you listen to everything that I just said, I thought she was bad. I thought this. I felt this way. It was not. There's no society. There's no Eurocentric standard. There's no none of that. When I seen that, I said, right here. Yep. This is what I'm rocking with. This is who I think is beautiful, gorgeous, all of the above. Right.
Got it.
So when we say how much matters, I think it 100% matters, because when you look at that person, you see, wow. Just wow. Now, I do feel for today's generation, because when we did meet and we started talking, there was no filters. There was no Instagram. There was no DMs. There was no FaceTime. We had the web camera. You understand what I'm saying? That's what we had, and my mama wasn't buying no web camera. You know what I'm saying? And nobody was really using that
before they got the 1048. The 1048, it was like you had a little bit of pixel in there.
Yeah,
some pixels.
Yeah. That's what we had then. So it was more authentic when we seen each other in person. You understand what I'm saying? And that's how I think you should feel like. But at the end of the day, it's not like that. Now you get to pull up somebody's profile. You get to pull up everything about them before you even decide if you want to talk to them or not. You understand what I'm saying? It's so different. That balloon game, there's so many different ways they could go about it to where people could get none of these people understand the pressure. Men or women, I think, they don't understand the pressure of, like, man, I'm gonna try to ask her for a number.
Yeah, it's not.
The only thing you're thinking about is, man, she might say no. She might say no. She might say no. You understand what I'm saying? They don't understand what that's like, or just going to an event. And we come from the house party era where everybody had a house party or a kickback, and you see somebody there. Who's that? Oh, hey man, tell her. Tell her.
They don't come from the.
There's no wingmans anymore. You know. Hey man, tell her.
You know her.
That's your sister or friend.
Yeah, hook it up.
Yeah, go set it up, dog.
Yeah, hook it up.
Jairus used to say, "What's up with the friends?"
Yeah, tell your friend.
What's up with the friends?
When you be like, hey, you trying to come over? You finna bring your friend. And your partner be like, man, what she look like?
What her friend look like?
What she look like? Yeah. They don't come from that.
We would get on the phone, dog, and we would talk to a female, and just the sound of her voice would be like, oh, she probably bad.
Sometimes that voice will fool your
Yes,
ass.
it will. Because she get on that phone and be like,
pretty ass voice.
Hey, she sound kind of like Aaliyah. Yeah. She sound bad. And then when you see her in person, it's Godzilla.
Yeah, you had to bank
Godzilla.
You had to bank on because that pretty friend, she don't want to tell her friend ain't as attractive.
And you know we gonna lie for the homie.
Yeah.
We gonna lie for the homie. Gonna be like, is your friend cute, man? He ain't never had a problem talking to any females. What you talking about?
He ain't never had a problem.
He ain't never had a problem talking to any females. You talking
real
about?
Talk. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That was, but I got catfished before.
Man, I don't know who hasn't, man.
No, I'm talking about before. I got
before it was called catfish.
Before it was called catfish.
You didn't know what it was. You're just like, man, she lied.
You remember when on Friday?
Oh yeah. What happened to Smokey?
I think I had exactly the same situation. She described herself a whole different shade. She was talking about a pretty ass voice. You know, back in the day when you talking to somebody and you talking to them so
you fall in love with their voice before anything else.
You fall in love with them.
Yeah.
Y'all telling each other, I love you. I love you. It's like, bitch, I ain't never even met you.
Right. Real talk.
One of them, man. And yeah, come to find out, man, it wasn't what it was, man. And
so look, how did you exit the situation?
All right, so what happened was,
how did you shut everything down to where it's like ain't no coming back?
Let me even tell you how it happened. So there was a period in my life where women somehow found my number in somebody else's contacts. I had like three,
that's the story they gave you?
Like, no, real talk, like 3 or 4 different females found my information, or somehow, like, there was one chick, she called my number on accident, was trying to call somebody else. I'm like, okay, what's your name? Boom, boom, boom. Turned into, little escapade.
Right.
But I had a few that would, like, they got my phone number or something. Either the MySpace, they seen me and they got the number out the phone. I don't know how. Mm-hmm. So she get the number. It was one of my ex's cousins. But the ex was like a while before the cousin called me. And she let this information be known early on. So we talking, pretty ass voice. I keep trying to like, what's up when we gonna meet up or whatever. So I'm staying in the north, she's staying in the south. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, what's up when we gonna meet up? And it was always some type of like excuse.
I bet.
So my ex, she like, hey, you talk to such and such? But I didn't hear the tone of her voice when she's saying it. Like, she like, so I didn't really get what she's saying. Like, she did
tried to
triple
tell you.
entendre, like, that's your type? Like, I didn't really dig what she was saying. I thought she was like, oh, you trying to talk to my cousin? I'm like, yeah, a little bit. She hit me, this and that. And we didn't go in depth. She didn't describe or nothing. So at this time, you start trying to do your investigation. You get the names. So now on MySpace, everybody got a different name than what their real name is on MySpace, but you're trying to do your investigation.
And that adds to your imagination, too.
It
adds to your imagination. Her name is what?
I try to do my such and such, and somehow one day, I get it. I don't know how I figured it out and got to the page. Mm-hmm. So I was so disappointed and mad, bruh. I instantly, I stopped communicating. That was the letdown. Like, there wasn't no...
So you was ghosting before ghost?
Nigga, I was a motherfucking, what's that, what they call that, the poltergeist, nigga. Shit start moving around, man, this bitch got me fucked up. Chairs and all kind of shit moving around, man. I was a poltergeist. Nah, but real talk, I ended up stopped communicating at that. Right when I found out, I was hella mad because I had put so much time in.
She was still trying to hit you up?
I think a couple of times she did. She the little, whatever little pet name. Hey, honey, or something, like a little pet name that niggas...
Well, call me that.
That phone, that flip phone I had, instantly.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so I was heartbroken.
Yeah,
Didn't
man.
even meet her, though.
Yeah, bro, that's what I'm saying. Hey, our younger generation got it way better, dog.
Oh my God, you gotta act. Yeah,
we come from the era where everything was like cereal, man. You had to eat the whole cereal box before you find out what the prize is gonna be at the bottom, and you're like, man, what? Man, it's the one from the last one I had, man. Or they don't know about the Happy Meal. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to collect all of them. You got the same one 3 times.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Now you got to go to a different McDonald's to try to get. Yep.
You got to go to the ones across town. They the ones with. I'm telling you, man, that y'all got it so much better, man. So much better. But you know what? I appreciate that. I appreciate those experiences.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? But I definitely think that there's a bad way of going about trying to fix the disconnect between our men and women.
Yeah, because this is getting out of hand with the way in which we are.
We're talking about we don't like your name. Now, what I will say, something that has been happening since forever with our sisters that I think they should be taught differently is you guys have to stop looking at things that are not going to take care of you for the rest of your life as boxes to check off on your list. Yeah, so when you guys talk about a dude's outfit, his fit, he don't have enough swag, or
a lot of niggas don't know how to dress. Yo, nigga don't know how to dress. The last few niggas you was with did not know how to dress. Like, let's keep it real. Your favorite celebrities don't know how to dress. That's why they have stylists. That's why they have stylists. When y'all think that Jay-Z, Beyonce, Future, Nas, Rihanna, whoever it is that you guys are listening to, 9 times out of now, I know J. Cole ain't got no stylist, right? I know Kendrick ain't got no stylist, but all of those big names, they have stylists. Nah, like straight up, they have stylists. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, and I think that we have to get back to that. We have to get back to like substance.
Yeah,
there was a time like where substance mattered. I think Gen X, I think they got the best of substance as far as in getting to know people and understanding and being able to relate. But the fact that you guys have an opportunity to like pull up somebody's profile before you even talk to them and they don't even know it, to me, that's creepy as hell.
Yeah.
That's super duper creepy. I see why you do it. But if you really think about how you're like studying somebody that you haven't even talked to yet, it is kind of creepy. Unless you're a journalist or an investigator or private investigator or something like that, it is kind of creepy when you think about it. You know what I'm saying?
They should have a thing on Instagram where you got to be like, have so many different types of communication with this person before you could just, or not even, you got to be friends with this individual for so long, before you can DM. I don't know,
something. Now I will say this, because I haven't released any yet. I did 2 episodes, but I'm actually going to release it on another platform that's going to be connected to the Notion. I have a close homeboy of mine who's been telling me for probably like the last 5 years all of his dating stories and experiences and stuff that's happened and where some of those women are now. It's called Stories from My Bro.
Nigga, I got.
Whew. But hey, please put me on there, bro. Hey, please. You know what? I have an idea. We'll talk about it off. We'll talk about it off air. But I have recorded a couple episodes because I think that this information is important. Like I think we go after a lot of stories that we see on YouTube and TikTok of people's experiences, and those things go viral. But if somebody were to just sit back and just tell stories, or even if people told their story of like, this is what I'm dealing with, because I do understand that women deal with a lot.
For sure.
I do understand that they've been misguided and deceived by a lot of men. Mm-hmm. But there's another part to that. Are you being deceived by what you like, or are you just being completely deceived? Because if you're going off of, okay, they seem like they make good money, or they said they make good money, they dress well, they're the correct height, well, what about those things has longevity? Even men shrink in height when they get older. Even the money gets slower the older you get. That's why they say save while you're young. There's reasons, there's levels to it. You understand what I'm saying? But I definitely think that balloon show is a bad look on the black dating culture.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
The show itself could have potential to go in a better direction, but the way that we look as a culture is like, and sisters that go on that show, when y'all think about divesting, just look at how y'all look on that show.
Yeah, what's
just
age?
saying? I'm just saying.
What's the age? I want to know what the ages are.
I've seen the ages where the guys could be anywhere from in their late 20s to their mid 30s. Now I don't know about the women though.
Yeah,
I seen one dude on there that it was a funny video. I saved it where the dude that was doing the reaction was calling bruh Shakespeare. And the reason why he called dude Shakespeare was because he really did kick some game, because he was talking to his sister and she was like this and like that, whatever. And he was like, do you think you're the prize? He even had the voice like, do you think you're the prize? And she was like, yeah, I know I'm the prize. He said, you are the prize to all the men you don't want. I said, oh. He said, you better believe when you are with a man that you want,
he's the prize.
We are the prize.
Yeah.
the camera pan, bro. The
both
camera
ways.
panned to all the women that was standing there, and it was just.
Yeah, no, that I mean, and I believe that like if it's someone that you are wanting, then they are the prize,
they're always going to be the prize. Yeah, you're right. It does go both ways, but I think a lot of people, especially a lot of women that are still single, don't understand that. You understand what I'm saying? So
they're
it's
the
like,
prize because they tell themselves that.
oh yeah, they're definitely lying to themselves, or they've been lied to as well. Mm-hmm. But I thought that was a great take because even though he was coming from a male perspective, I'm pretty sure. I would hope that he's wise enough to understand when he finds the woman he wants that she's the prize.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? And I think there's been this between the dating lists, which we've already covered, what somebody should have and all of these different things, that they're not having enough conversations about longevity. You know what I'm saying? You should be dating to marry. Mm-hmm. If you're dating to just do whatever, then you're going to keep getting the same results that you've been getting.
That's where I'm at, man. That's where my fear is, too. It's like, I'm not just trying to date or look for someone just to be dating momentarily. Mm-hmm. It's literally, I don't want to have to do this again.
Nah, I don't think anybody wants to when they get into a relationship or when they end a relationship. Like, man, what are we talking about? I don't think that's the wave. What I will get at though, I wanted to cover this real quick because I feel like there's some momentum building. So I want to just get ahead of it instead of being behind the momentum. Will Smith, do you feel like Will Smith is starting to redeem his career, his reputation after the infamous Oscar slap?
I don't even know if
or where do you stand?
I think we were all I think there's multiple ways that we were kind of looking at that. We had never seen Will ever exhibit that type of behavior.
Never seen nobody get smacked like that on the Oscars.
Yeah, first of all, we never seen a nigga get slapped on the Oscars. We never seen anybody of his ilk act out in that way in public on such a platform. And I think we were all kind of it was a total opposite of how we view Will Smith over the years. For
sure.
So, and who he slapped, it kind of made us feel a certain way towards him. I don't think any of us was like ready to get him out of here. We might have said it at the time.
You talking about the masses or culturally?
Both. I think a lot of us was like, man, fuck that nigga out of pocket, like at the time in the moment, but in our hearts and all, we kind of was like, ain't nobody getting rid of Will Smith. No one's not watching. It's not like he did anything like a R. Kelly or
people gave him a pass before he finally went down.
They definitely gave that man a pass for a while. But I think it was more based on like we were disappointed in how he behaved and who he slapped. And so I guess you could say he's redeeming in a way, but I think it's just more of now he's that's a thing of the past. You know what I'm saying? Like we could just go ahead and be like, okay, that happened. I
felt like the timing was jacked up too because his book came out and he had just started being more vulnerable.
Yeah, for sure.
And sharing
social media, for sure.
He started being more vulnerable and more open about the pressures of being that guy. Mm-hmm. You know, because I did read the book. I enjoyed it. I actually learned a lot about certain parts of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Because of his book. That obviously we were young kids when this stuff was happening. But
I think it was hard for us to feel bad for him in that moment because of who he slapped. Had it been somebody else, we might have been able to understand more.
Well, you know, people say, well, he would have did that to The Rock.
Yeah, like.
But what if he did?
If he did it to The Rock, I swear, I think we would probably feel different about it. But because.
Well, yeah, because it would have been a fight.
Yeah, it would have been a fight. It would have been a fight. He might have got rocked by.
Man, his name Dwayne Johnson.
The people's elbow might have happened on stage. But I think because he took his rage out and everything that he was going through, we felt like you took it out on the wrong person or a person who was not as
but if he had to beat up August Alsina, the results would have been the same because he's a small, frail guy too.
If he would have did August, if he would have slapped August, I think a lot of us would have been like, yeah, because we wasn't fucking around. Didn't nobody feel what August was doing and like how he was talking.
But he's still a small guy.
Yeah, but
there's still that concept.
You know when Tory Lanez It's just a smaller guy than August. Got off on August, and didn't nobody really bat an eye to that. It was because we kind of understood, but because you took it out on Chris Rock, who for no way should anyone feel any threat towards Chris Rock. It was like, we ain't feeling that. We can't really understand too much. We knew what you were going through. We were feeling bad for you. The red table talk. We're feeling bad for you about the whole situation with your wife and how she's doing this exposing of y'all intimate and personal relationship information.
It's crazy because they just shut that show down too.
Oh, the red table is over?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they shut that down.
I was waiting on that. I thought they did that a while ago.
I think it was last year or earlier this year. But it hasn't been that long since they shut it down.
Yeah, I think a lot of us were kind of like turned off because we didn't feel who you attacked. Had you done it to somebody else, we would have been like, okay, we understand.
But isn't that common for it to go down like that, where when somebody has all of that built up frustration and that consistent ridiculing, ostracizing, all of the above, right? And then it's almost like the next person. Because, I mean, that's literally a saying. How many movies do we grow up watching? Or how many times have we heard the next person that says, or the next person, even as a parent, the next kid that come in here and ask for some cookies. You see what I'm saying? Because you're reaching a breaking point. Because people try to dissect like, oh, well, he laughed after he did this, he did that. Let me tell you something, folks. I know people that if you ask a favor from them, they'll kind of like laugh and say no. Not because they're making fun of you or not because they think it's funny. It's because they're nervous.
It's a nervous laugh.
It's a nervous reaction.
A lot of people will laugh nervously when they,
The Joker laughs all the time when he's doing something to Gotham. Come on, y'all. Well, what are we talking about right now? But I do agree about the whole, it did look bad. But I definitely... If I could say a way that you should try to redeem a mistake, I've liked how he's tried to do it.
Yeah, he just got back to what he was doing.
First of all, he shut down. He did the infamous thing that we always say about a celebrity when they do too much. You know, when they say take their phone.
Oh yeah,
somebody take such and such phone. He went dark for a while, right? He tried to let everything calm down a little bit, and he made a public apology because his behavior was public. And I know for people that personally know me, they know I was a Will Smith fan as a kid and still am a fan of his acting, right? So this isn't biased. This is just me speaking on certain things that I'm seeing. They said that the slap thing was incorporated in the new Bad Boys movie. I haven't seen it.
I heard about that.
So I'm gonna see what that's about.
I heard that there's a few things kind of around that situation and other situations that are incorporated
right
as well.
And it would be dope to see the two I mean, even if it's behind closed doors and it's settled, but just, you know, it's addressed publicly, however they do it, to come together and get past that. Because I do think you can get past some, you know, a slap or whatever. I mean, as men, we've fought and still were friends and still have respect for each other.
You made a lot of your friends.
A lot of your friends, you hated them at first, right? I have plenty of friends. The homie Jamal, like, I already know you're going to defend yourself, bro, but you didn't like me in 8th grade, man. That's my brother. You know what I'm saying?
I got a few friends.
I got a few homies we didn't
first,
and then it's like, yo,
that's my boy.
That's my partner. You better not fight him, even though I did. I know that, right? So it's a little bit of a different dynamic when it comes to men. But I would love to see like they get past it even on a cordial level, just because we're seeing a lot of our heroes being crucified publicly.
He might still got to get it up with Tony though. Tony Rock still want the fade.
I wouldn't do that if I was Tony.
Yeah.
That man was a trained boxer for Ali. You don't lose that. Yeah, and let's not get it twisted.
There's a lot of like Will don't look like a slouch. Tony come from Brooklyn, but Will still come from West Philly. Philly, they already known for the boxing, the hand thing. He's seen what happened, why he had to move to LA. You seen he had to move to LA.
You know that's really Benny Medina's story, right? One of the executive producers of you see the names in the credits?
Yeah.
That's really his story.
Okay.
You know, they just switched it and made it about Will, but that's really that's his real life story.
Nigga had to move to LA, man.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I just don't think that's. Listen, man. If you want to defend, if you want to defend your family's honor and stuff like that, that's cool. But we too grown to be fighting for our older brothers. Yeah. One of the last older brother scenarios I seen that I thought was hilarious was actually you and your brother. We was at y'all house. And your younger brother, because his younger brother is actually taller than him. But
I already know what you finna say.
Yo, big little brother was getting smacked on UFC by this little kid.
Kid was like 7.
Was like 7 years old.
Oh my god!
Smacking Clifton in UFC. Bro. And what did Clifton do?
Harold.
He called his big brother. Harold, come get him. And Harold went in there and took the controller and beat the little kid.
The little kid was
and little kid was about to cry. So then you had to fake lose.
You had to fake lose.
The point is I understand Tony Rock, because you always gonna need your big brother, man. But come on, dog.
Hey, he did. Clinton was in there getting whooped. The little kid was like, yeah. He's like, Harold, come here, man. I went in there and whipped that little boy ass, and then I seen his face, and I was like, shit. I gotta let this little.
I gotta let him win the next match.
Yeah.
You always gonna need your older brother, man. No matter what, you always gonna need your older brother.
That's real talk. That's a fact.
But I definitely think, all jokes aside, I think that Will's doing a good job with the way he's going about it. I like his new song.
Yeah, I heard it.
The new song is not bad. I like it. I like it.
I like it. Who flow was that? One of his flows, or whose flow was that? Because I know that flow from a song.
I feel like that's authentic Will Smith's flow.
Because I couldn't.
You talking about the cadence?
Yeah, I couldn't catch it.
I feel like that's his flow. Like when
one of his flows.
When he tried to get in that, when he gets in that inspiration bag. Because this is, like I said, I've been a fan. Like I really did have Will in him. I really did have Big Willie style, the albums and all of that stuff. I knew the lyrics. Still know some of them. When he would get into that inspirational bag, that's really how he sounds.
And I don't when he did
the Joyner Lucas joint, I was like, "Yo, man, somebody writing for you, Will, because you kind of going off." But he is
Lucas joint?
With the I Feel Like I'm Will. They did the remix, and Will was cooking. He was going in. That it's a dope song, but he was really in his bag on that song, and he just started posting the behind the scenes, and I think he's supposed to perform at the BET Awards. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. But I liked seeing how they kind of cascade away from, because I see certain blog sites, certain journalism where they still talk everything that Will Smith is post Oscar slap.
I almost forgot about the damn Oscar slap. Like that shit is out of here.
Yeah,
we gotta stop talking.
There's too many world issues to be trying to like. But I do understand that there's a lot of people.
Presidents was on there arguing about. I mean, the presidential candidates was arguing about who's better at golf, and we talked.
What? My thing is like I'm still trying to figure out where I can find me some black jobs. You know what I'm saying,
bro?
There's bigger conversations is the point.
We should be talking about more
so
than that slap.
Shout out to Will. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Will, man.
Sure.
Shout out to Will.
Respect.
Speaking of bad boys, so you seen the footage?
I saw the footage. I seen about 3 or 4. I seen the extended version.
Tell the people what we talking about.
35 minutes of it.
Tell the people what we talking about, man.
Hey, first I want to say, there might be a job opening for bruh. He could get a job.
Who?
We talking about
the police officer or the dude that lost it, got his money to.
Old boy and his attention to detail and how well.
He's a detective. He could be a detective, is what you say.
A detective.
So tell the people what we talking about as far as in this story with this police officer and his brother.
So we all know as people of our, black folks, black and brown, especially everybody in America, has experienced or known of situations where the police there's planting evidence. There's a lot of them planting evidence videos coming out now where they getting caught.
They got them body cameras and stuff now.
And now, there's also not now, but where they're stealing from suspects, whether it's the drugs, money. Mm-hmm. And so a young man in North Carolina, he gets arrested, pulled over for a traffic violation. The traffic violation He was doing like 15, 20 over the speed limit. He had a federal warrant, so they're going to arrest him. He has money on him. He had about 8 to 9 racks on him.
Wasn't that like to pay the bills too? It was like to pay his bills.
I was trying to figure out what bills he was about to pay because they in North Carolina, and I'm trying to figure out what to pay. Like whatever.
Brother probably got a nice house, man.
Right. That aside, he got about 8, 9 racks on him in cash. The officer who initially pulled him over is on a bike. So another officer pulls up. That officer pulls up. The suspect's cousin is in the car, or cameraman, whoever that person was. I thought he said it was his cousin. Get out. When you want to you going to get arrested, you want to have somebody take your stuff.
Right.
So the one officer who pulled up after said, yeah, you can take the phone. The cash is going to stay with you. That's just how we do it. That's just how we do it. So he like, give him the phone. He like, and then the brother is probably like, man, I ain't finna give my money to dude because, I'd rather, let me just keep it with me. So he's not thinking of it. Next scene they show is
they're at the precinct, right?
They pulling up. They not even inside yet. It's like 3 or 4 other officers. As he's getting out, the female cop, she's starting to count the money out. And dude was like, you know what? He was the way he was poised and his calm demeanor, I'd have been going crazy.
Right.
So he said the officer is in the car still.
Right.
Suspect out the car, handcuffed still. Other officers are counting his money, finna put it in an evidence envelope.
Okay.
And the female cop keeps asking how much money.
Y'all listening?
So he's not responding to that. He's saying other things like, hey man, check dude, he just popped the rubber band on my money. He got the money. And the officer looking like you know the kid when you caught?
Yeah.
He was like, huh? I don't got no money.
Right.
So the dude is like, man, so as they keep focusing on him, you see his arm is down like this. And every time the dude says something, he over there, he got the money in his hand, he trying to put it between his lap. He like, huh? I don't got your money.
Right.
So he gets out, and as he closes the door, he starts trying to go through his pocket and show him like, man, I ain't got your shit. And the dude is like, hey man, check this out. I got 20/20 vision. My mama used to have foster kids, so she has to watch them little niggas all the time.
Right.
So I learned from her how to watch people. And the way you was over there fidgeting between your lap, and all that. And if
your body language, your behavior, all of that.
If somebody if you get accused of something, if I am accused of taking something from somebody, and they like, man, search up, I'm like, you got me fucked up. I'm not search. You're not gonna search nothing.
Right.
I ain't take nothing from you. So the officer keeps trying to show him that. So a sergeant is there. Only the reason the sergeant is there is because this is a U.S. Marshal's warrant. This is a federal warrant. So the arresting officers just don't know how to handle that situation. So they call their superior. So the superior is just like, hey, listen to me. Look at me. Look at me. He like, no, nigga, I'm looking over here. Why you keep trying to have me look over here? Look at me. We're not gonna let anyone take your money. It's not what we're gonna do. So the dude is just so calm, and I believe it's just because of his demeanor and how calm he was, and how well he was like recounting information. He keeps telling us he's addressing everybody by name. He's like, I can recall everything they said to you, this and that. He's just calm, and he's like, even telling the officer who stole from him, like, look, man, I ain't trying to expose you like that, bro. That's not what I do. But you were stealing. So eventually, the officer who gets out and tries to show that he didn't have anything, they open the door, and the dude is like, look, I'm not even gonna touch nothing. And I'm like, you nigga, you can't touch nothing anyway. Your hands
it's over.
He said, man, them blue hundreds right there behind that fucking receipt on the door. The sergeant pulled the money out. He's like, this your money? And the officer who was in the car said, that ain't my money. Nigga said, nigga, it's my money. Of course it ain't your money. He's like, it ain't my money. So they do the whole count. He was like, bruh. He told the female officer, he said, I didn't want to tell you how much money I had, because if I would have been wrong, because I just went to Wendy's and got that the FOFA whatever.
Yeah, bro said when he got the Wendy's and everything.
Yeah, because I don't remember how much change I got back. So I didn't, because I don't remember how much change I got back, I can't be sure. And if I give you a wrong number,
you're gonna make it seem like I'm lying. Yeah.
So he said, if I'm right, that's about almost $1,000 right there. Mind you, he hadn't touched the money since they took it off.
Right, because he's been cuffed. Yeah.
So he knew how much he probably spent at Wendy's, but he ain't too sure, so he don't want to say
what the
exact
change
number.
was.
So he said it's probably like almost a rack.
Right.
I mean, almost.
And she counted it out, and it was pretty much
$900. So through that whole transition, they end up taking the dude to an investigation room. The sergeant starts talking to him. He's still so polite and like the way in which he kept apologizing. The sergeant's like, man, stop apologizing.
Yeah, because he kept saying, like, I'm not trying to put you out there like that. I'm not even trying to, like, embarrass you, but you are stealing.
Man,
it was, yeah, that was.
Went into the room with
that
the,
was
with
confusing.
The officer.
Like,
he was
man,
sitting in the cubicle. He was sitting in the cubicle, and the sergeant came over. Hey, give me your gun real quick. And the dude was like, you know, man, I'm sorry. He started looking like he was tearing. But the suspect at the time, when he was recounting this to the other officer, he like, man, look. He's talking about his body language. He like, man, he gulped. His eyes start watering when I was standing on it. Like, he was paying attention to everything. He knew everybody's name and all that.
Yeah.
He was like, I want y'all write y'all names down. The officer got arrested.
That's wild.
For over $900, you just lost your job. But he resigned so he can still get his pension or whatever. But dude is about to sue.
Oh, yeah.
He's about to sue.
Yeah.
So,
and he probably finna get paid.
Probably.
So
he's gonna get paid. They're gonna settle out of court.
So it's the crazy thing is we always talk about like police reform. That's been a thing. George Floyd, prior to George Floyd, but it's like reform what at this point? Because on top of the brutality that happens. And I already know some of y'all with the statistics is going to jump in the comments about who does what and who's more victims. And the point is, there needs to be a reform regardless. If those stats shouldn't exist, you know what I'm saying? But
I don't think they should be able to turn off I don't think there should be a ability to turn off the camera.
I agree.
I think the camera should always be continuously running. And there's no way for you to turn it off unless you hooking it back up to whatever little system you get it to charge.
Yeah.
And that's when it turns off.
Yeah. And I don't even think you should be able to operate without it.
No.
Your camera don't work? All right, you do desk work for today.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And this is why, because now this is another thing that I appreciate about the internet, social media, is now you're seeing what the day-to-day scenarios are with what people are going through and dealing with. You got to remember, on the back of these police cars when we were growing up, I don't know if they changed it. It used to say protect and
still
serve.
say that shit on there, I think.
You know what I'm saying?
Still say that.
And now, you know me, I always try to find a solution for problems. I do think that us as a culture, if we're going to complain about the problem, we got to have solutions for it. Yeah, reform is one, but no, maybe you probably got to get behind a badge. Maybe we do need more of people of our hue being officers, being police chiefs and stuff like that, so they can go to our neighborhoods, and because we know how to talk to our people. We know how to engage with our people, right? And we know the type of protection our people need. See, people like me and you, we can go to the hood and we could have a conversation. We can say, yo, what happened with Pookie and them yesterday? They be like, man, I don't even really know. We know what that means.
Oh, yeah, nigga, you know.
That means you know,
but you ain't willing to tell.
But you're not willing to tell.
For sure.
You understand what I'm saying? And we know how to try to get past that. If we want to press the issue or really want to know the information, right? But a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people that don't come from where we come from and don't understand our code of ethics and things like that, they come in with an attitude. They come in, being brash and, well, if you don't do this, section code, that's not a language they speak. So
shit, honestly, even when it come to our people being the police or from the neighborhood, I think being from the neighborhood creates more of an accountability.
Yeah.
But I think corruptness is going to be corrupt. Is just human nature.
Yeah.
In some sense, I don't think there's ever going to be, just because you are the police or you're a judge or you're a lawyer or you're anybody in the government, as far as somebody who has a position of power and who is supposed to uphold certain laws. I think it's just going to be human nature. So I don't think we can get away from that in totality.
Things are tied into it.
Yeah.
That's what I do think, that there's things tied into it other than just we need more people like us. Because I know that that's been the thing, but it's more so like you take me, you, Jelani, and 2 other people, and you don't feed us for 30 days and you throw 2 loaves of bread in there. how corrupt could we be? You understand what I'm saying?
I guess when it comes down to how many slices a nigga goes,
you know what I mean?
Nah, that nigga don't get that.
Hey man, you know bro was talking about you after the podcast.
Get that nigga the end pieces, nigga.
You know bro was talking about you after the podcast, right?
End pieces, bro.
He wants you out of here, man.
Yeah.
You see that's where that's corruption, because the fastest way, I think, in my opinion, to create corruption is you create scarcity for the necessities. That's where the corruption comes. That's where deception, dishonor, disloyal, all of those things come into play. So yes, we do need we need honest people. We need people that look like us. But I mean, look at the times we live in. Look at how many people are struggling. Look at how many people are underpaid and how many people are overpaid. Look how many people are overly taxed and not taxed as much. So it all plays a role. And I'm not saying that to defend the cop that was stealing. I'm just wondering what would have happened if bruh wasn't harassed, and what if that cop was being paid properly for putting his life on the line every day?
I can, yeah.
These are just questions. I'm not saying that it would have went any different, because you have greedy people out there. I'm just saying these are questions.
Yeah, why he was trying to take that 900 is he,
that's probably exactly what he owed for something.
To risk the 9, like,
oh, he definitely risked it all. For real.
Especially if you think about his age, he's not like, he wasn't a younger cop. He was. Oh
yeah.
He was older.
Yeah, for sure.
He was an older man.
And we live in rough times right now. But these are real scenarios, and I think that, I always see. I'm really, really fascinated with the comment section on social media. And I know there's a lot of people that aren't, or there's a lot of people that don't care about it. But I think what fascinates me when you're watching somebody tell their perspective on a story, these are real people. These aren't bots. These aren't, somebody that's just trying to be an extremist. These are like how people really feel. And that's why I will sit down and I'll look at a story, or I'll look at a video, but I'm like, I gotta see what the people are saying. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I'm not impressed, because it's like I would expect everybody to feel this way. Mm-hmm. But then there are times where it's like, man, what makes a person think the way they think? It's kind of like when you play online. You know what I'm saying? And somebody's mad that the match ain't going the way they wanted to go. And it's like, bro, what got you that mad? You know what I'm saying? What got you in your feelings that way? Mm-hmm. I like to explore that. It's just human behavior. So,
Yeah, man. Let's see.
But anyways,
technical
man.
Difficulties?
Man, a little bit. But getting out of here, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We could reconvene next week.
It's more conversation that need to be had, for sure. Yeah. But we're going to go ahead and get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? You've been tuning into the Notion Podcast. This is your boy, Dizzy D Spill, with my co-host in the building,
Farmer Poe.
And we're gonna talk off mic about these ideas. Anyways, let us know what you think about the topics. Yo, throw topics at us, things that you want us to cover, whatever it is that you disagree with that I said, or that he said, or that we said. You already know where to find us in the comment section, and we ain't never scared. You feel me?
Talk about it.
Anyways, until next time, peace.